So an avoidance left and you've decided you want this person back, here is exactly what you need to do. Hi, I'm Amy and welcome to my channel. Here we discuss spirituality and psychology so you can manifest your dream relationships. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do if you want your avoidant partner back. And trust me, this can work quicker than you think it will. So I've had a lot of experience with avoidant partners, and both times these people wanted to come back. And as you know from my channel and you know from my background, this has happened so many times for me. I just want to share my takeaway from this because a lot of the questions I get asked are, I think my partner's avoidant, I really want them back, and how do I do this? And it is absolutely possible that your avoidant will return. And it happens more than you realize, particularly if you've been in a longer term relationship with an avoidant. But the first thing you need to understand is that the avoidant will go through a very specific cycle. So what their patterns are is, number one, they need connection. Number two, they get into the dating phase, they move into the honeymoon phase. And then number three, when the power struggle stage happens in a relationship and suddenly there is expectations on them and suddenly they're expected to meet somebody else's needs and consider somebody else, they'll begin to start experiencing overwhelm. And if you've done any research on dismissive avoidant people, you will know that their main fears are being engulfed in a relationship, losing their freedom, losing their autonomy. And when there's expectations on a relationship, it really triggers these fears, which presents as overwhelm. And because they're not great at processing or even accessing their own feelings and regulating themselves, the first thing that comes to their mind is, I have to escape this situation, which may present to you as being ghosted, for example. Maybe they walked out after an argument and it's really painful being on the other side of this. So the avoidant breaks away from the relationship, and the first thing that they will feel is relief because those expectations are no longer there. But once they've felt the relief and they're happy that they've got their independence back, this is when they will start to miss you because they can only suppress their feelings for so long before they start to come off, and they will start to miss you. Now, this is a really pivotal moment for an avoidant, but this can happen anywhere between 6 weeks and 3 months. So even longer with some people. So this is not an easy road, but it is meant to be this way so that you can work on yourself, which is what I'm going to cover in the rest of the video. And when the avoidant starts missing you, they may start sending messages, or they may like social media posts. They may want to catch your attention in some way and test the water to see how you're feeling. Are you open to reconciliation? It's very rare that you will immediately get a really long text message saying how they regret it all and they're desperate to come back. So just manage your expectations on this because this is not typical of an avoidant person. So you've had your time and you want this person back. What is it that you actually need to do? The number one priority, and I know that it's hard, is no contact. And I often get asked about the no contact rule, and people say, oh, I need to do it for 30 days. Be prepared to do this for longer than 30 days because, as I've just said, they might not start feeling their feelings till at least 6 weeks into the breakup. So you've got to really bear this in mind and not think, right, okay, I'm just going to, white knuckle it to 30 days and then I'll send a text. That's not what we're doing, because also we want this time for you to actually heal and for you to process feelings and for you to really develop a really good sense of yourself, a real inner security and confidence, so that you can actually make an informed decision about whether you want this person back or not. And the reason why I say this is when you're in a state of desperation and anxiety, you do not know what you want. You want this person back, but really you want to be out of the pain, which is understandable because breakups are so painful. Sometimes if you feel abandoned, you will do anything to get out of this pain. So number one is no contact. Number two is working on yourself. Now, I know that this can sound unsatisfactory, but really it is the biggest gift that you're going to give yourself in this time. And you are going to really try hard to focus entirely on you and filling your own buckets, filling your own voids, and not focus on them or what they're doing. They need to be left alone. They need their space. And we don't want to get into energetically chasing somebody, because then we're just self-abandoning again. So what does this even look like? When people say you need to do the work on yourself, what does that even look like? So this includes changing what your own story is in relationship to yourself. So if you're an anxious attached person, for example, you'll have a story going in your mind of, I was abandoned, or I'm going to be alone forever. And these are stories that are going to make you really suffer and feel terrible. And we want to try and change and shift these, because you can't know that you're going to be on your own forever. You can't possibly know that. But what you are going to do is you are going to start to see and look at intentionally, okay, what do I actually believe about myself right now? And write it down. And I want you to go through them and find evidence for the opposite. So let's pick, I will be abandoned again. You know, question that. Do you know that for sure, that you will be abandoned again? Probably not. You don't know that for sure. And look at ways in your life that you haven't been abandoned. Look for evidence for the opposite. And then I want you to look at, okay, how can I start to be there for myself? How can I start to really pour into myself so that I don't feel the sting as much anymore with this breakup? And really start to care for yourself. Start to meditate, start journaling, making sure that you're exercising, making sure that you're hydrated, that you're eating well, and start to prioritize yourself. And this is where the shift happens, because when you are prioritizing yourself, they are prioritizing you. So when it is that you're in no contact and you're really pouring into yourself, you're making connections with people that you might have lost connection with, or you're deepening connections with friends and family. And when you can start prioritizing you and what you need and start to fill your own cups, they will start to focus on you. And this is the time when they usually come back. Now, just a quick warning here, because you have worked so much on yourself, you might not want them. But I don't want this to trigger anybody, because a lot of people, including myself years ago, I was terrified of the idea that I would not want this person anymore. And then I had the realization, well, if I don't want him, then I'll just not think about him. So just be prepared that you might actually become so secure and so loving towards yourself that you might not want them. You might not. And you want to be in a position where, yeah, great, if it's them, great. If it's not, great. But also, when they do come back, you're going to vet this person this time. You're going to see that their actions match up with their words. You're going to go in with boundaries, which is a really, really good way of prioritizing yourself. You're going to set some boundaries this time that you will show up for. You're going to really introspect on how you were at the beginning of the relationship. So did you overinvest too soon and got attached before an attachment was formed on their end? Did you overgive in the relationship? Were you trying to prove your worth? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you need any help, put a question below and I will do my best to answer it, and I will see you in the next video.